Hey, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Crimes, Killers, Cults,
And beer.
and Cats.
Finally,
This
cats.
this
I've been
is
waiting all
episode
week for cats.
episode 152, part 2 of Sheryl Ruthven and her crazy Doomsday cat cult. And yes, I know I left you on a cliffhanger right when the cats finally showed up in the episode, but I had to because there was no way that this was going to be a one-part episode.
Like I said, I've been waiting. I thought maybe the cats might come in, at least I don't know, 5 minutes, but no cats last episode. So there better be all the cats this episode.
Oh, there's plenty of kitties in this episode. Lots of them. Well, you saw the picture. I sent it to you. There's a bunch of cats in that picture, and a crazy woman. But,
Anytime I think of crazy cat lady, all I could think of is the Simpsons woman. Just washing the cats with the washing board in her pool. I aspire to that one day.
But before we get started, I am pumped up. I got news that I have been waiting years to hear the other day.
Oh.
And it regards a movie.
Oh boy.
We are getting Spaceballs 2.
2.
Hell yeah. Rick Moranis is coming back as Dark Helmet.
The quest for more money, is it?
I hope they don't call it the quest for more money. That would be too obvious.
Well, no, I actually think they were going to call it that. Well, I mean, I think in the original they said the search for more money, but I think they were actually calling it the quest for more money.
But they were also throwing around Spaceballs 3, the search for Spaceballs 2. But on the teaser trailer, they called it The Schwartz Awakens. And I'd be okay with that because there's a lot to make fun of in those 3 god-awful Star Wars movies.
Yeah. I've only seen those movies a couple times. I kind of refuse to watch them again. Those movies are dead to me. I just prefer to think that they didn't happen.
The thing is, in my opinion, the worst one, or the one that gets shit on the most, is The Last Jedi. In my opinion, that's the best one of the 3. I mean, it's horrible. It sucked, but out of the 3, that one is the best one.
I just wish that, and listen, I'm not trying to be mean to someone who was a child, but I'm like, there's child actors that aren't painful to watch. And the kid that did Anakin was just painful. No,
you're talking about the prequels. I'm talking about the sequels. I'm talking about the sequels. The Force Awakens, The Last Jedi, and Rise of Skywalker.
Oh, well, okay. They all suck then.
I like the prequels. I like the prequels. And I do agree about Jake Lloyd. That kid was annoying as hell.
Okay, the prequels weren't good either. I'm sorry. Okay, well, you have a right to be wrong, but I mean, the dialogue in the prequels was bad too. Like, even between Anakin and Padme was just
I don't
bad.
like sand. It's coarse and it gets everywhere.
It's just bad. It's bad.
Yeah, well, I like the prequels. So, but
like I said, you have a right to be wrong.
Also, one other thing, and then we'll get into the episode. There was Bill Pullman's son is going to be in this movie, and I'm calling it right now. He's going to be Lone Star's son, and he is going to be seduced to the downside of the Schwartz by Dark Helmet. I'm calling it right now.
I don't know. I haven't heard too much about it. I'm looking forward to it, but I just hope that Mel Brooks is as immortal as he seems.
Oh, I know. He's 98. It's supposed to be released in 2027. I hope that I hope he doesn't die, but I hope that if he does, they keep on with the movie.
Well, he was supposed to be Yogurt, wasn't he? He was reprising his role.
Yeah, he's reprising his role as Yogurt and probably President Scrooge too.
I don't know. I mean, I would think that they could get rid of President Scrooge because it's a new. I don't think they need to add President Scrooge into this movie, even though.
Yeah, Jack Black should play the offspring of Barf. That's perfect.
Oh, John Candy, God rest his soul.
Yeah, but the only person that could do it justice, in my opinion, is Jack Black.
That'd be some good casting. I would do that. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure what original character. Like, did they say that anyone else in the original cast was coming on, or was it
Daphne
just Rick Moranis?
Daphne Zuga, Bill Pullman, they're both coming back, obviously, and Mel Brooks.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's 4 right there. Or is it Rick Moranis, Bill Pullman, Daphne, and Mel Brooks. Yeah, that's 4 right there.
Yeah.
So that's plenty.
Yeah.
So I had to comment on the Spaceballs 2. I had to. I mean, it was like a requirement. So anyway, in part 1, we covered Cheryl's marriage to Mark and how she became the wing woman for another church pastor, but she decided she had to have a church of her own, despite having no training whatsoever in being a preacher. She had barely even opened a Bible, let alone read it. We covered her desire to kill her first husband, Mark, and a man who she duped into doing it, but he failed. We also covered the rise of her cult and her descent into narcissism, which led her to become a very hypocritical cult leader.
Yeah, she loved the homosexuality, but
it's a sin.
Killing people was a sin too, wasn't it? Like, wasn't that part something in there about?
I think, I think it was written on a piece of on a tablet,
and drop the tablet.
But before we get started, because this is a cat episode, I have something. It was in the Todd tribute, but we're going to put it here too, just because.
Is your feline fur baby having uncontrollable hairballs?
Kitty chat with Todd
can help. Does your precious princess sharpen her claws on your brand new microfiber sectional sofa?
Kitty chat with Todd
can help. Join Todd, the crazy cat lady. He can help you with all of your pussycat problems and your kitty cat concerns. Did your kitty develop indigestion after it ate your meth head roommate who died of an overdose while you were on vacation?
Kitty chat with Todd
can help with that too. Find the Kitty Chat with Todd podcast at Kitty Chat with Todd on MySpace.
Kitty Chat with Todd
it has the answers you need.
Kitty Chat with Todd,
where every day is Catterday. Meow.
Meow.
Meow indeed. I had to. I meant to put it. I meant to put it at the very beginning of this episode, but I forgot. So there it is. But just a heads up. Part 2 is going to be much more intense than part 1. You've been warned.
A lot more cats.
Sheryl told everybody that it was time to start adopting cats. And my little sermon that I did in part 1, you'll see that I wasn't really far off with that. About the book of Garfield.
Oh, yeah. make sure you... Well, I mean... Now, I don't know, if she was having you feed the cats lasagna, that would be even crazier.
Yeah. But she had already been reading the wiki pages for Egyptian practices, so it's not surprising that she took the cat worship to an extreme.
She's
Egyptians
a vast worshiper?
Yeah. Damn, it is pouring. I can hear it over my headphones.
It did that last night.
Even with headphones on.
Yeah, last night it was bad. I went to go get myself some food. Well, the second I stepped out onto my porch, there was thunder like right over my head. I think I pooped a little because I just went out and it was like, come home. And I'm like, okay.
But the Egyptians believed that cats were vessels that could be inhabited by their gods. Cats are not vessels. But the cats were not vessels, according to her. They were of God. Save as many cats as you can, and you will be saved from the apocalypse. She rebranded Freedom Fire Ministries to a nonprofit called Eva's Eden Cat Rescue. This was a cage-free cat shelter, and people could come bond with a kitty that caught their eye out in the open. No private rooms. It sounds sweet, right?
It does. It sounds adorable, except, I don't know, like putting a bunch of cats in one room sounds a little dangerous, especially if you have cats, the first time you show them to each other. Yeah. Pissing everywhere.
A lot of that. Well, you are a prophet, so I'll just go ahead and say, put a knife in that. They would take cats from the pound that were scheduled to be put down, and they would bring them to their sanctuary/adoption center. The congregation would bring these cats into their homes, feed them, love them, and bring them back to being the loving kitties that all kitties are.
Well, I wouldn't go that far. Not all.
Well, but that's how it was portrayed. I'm not gonna lie. I really wish Todd could have been part of this episode. But once these cats who were marked for death had been rehabilitated, they would be taken to Eva's Eden, so people could come to adopt them. And once again, sounds sweet. Mm-hmm. But the cats that they had at the actual adoption center were the best of the best. The best looking, the best demeanors. But what about the cats that didn't make a miraculous recovery?
Well, I don't know. I mean, were they just tell me they just released them to the grounds or something to be feral, or are we eating them? Are we unleashing them upon our enemies?
Nope. Well, she's unleashing them on her congregation.
And a bunch of cats in church yowling.
But Sheryl became obsessed with cats and started working with multiple shelters across Washington. They would be bringing in 30 to 50 cats a week. Her followers were required to go to a pound at Cheryl's beck and call. You're at work and Sheryl called you. You had to leave work and go pick up a bunch of cats. You're sitting down at dinner with your family. Got to go get the cats. And the delivery room with your wife, who's giving birth to a baby.
Thunder!
The cats.
Thunder! Thunder! Thundercats!
That still doesn't matter. Go get the cats.
Go get the cats. I mean, that last one didn't happen as far as I know of, but you get the point. Cats came first.
Honey, don't push just yet.
I gotta go get some cats.
Or I'm in labor. Can you just hold it in for, I don't know, an hour or two? Go get these cats. Gosh.
But Sheryl said that the cats are the number one priority in your home. Everybody had to take cats in. Not just 2 or 3. We're talking 15 to 35 cats.
Oh, great. So we're talking multiple hoarding situations. Mm-hmm. How nice.
The cats took precedence over your husband or your wives or even your kids. The cats ate before you and your family did. You had to clean the cats' areas before you cleaned your areas. Mm-hmm. Their areas had to be clean and spotless. The cats had to be fed and cleaned up before you could even eat breakfast and send your kids off to school.
Sounds typical, actually. I mean, I don't know, little freeloading assholes. Very, very demanding. You have cats,
But it didn't even end there. She turned it into a competition. Like, Family A has 35 cats and you only have 20, so you better step it up. She would keep notes on who had how many cats, and she would do this at the church services. Okay, let's break this down. 1 cat and 1 litter box. Somebody coming over to your house will be able to smell it even if you keep it clean. But it won't be bad. But you can definitely tell that there's a cat in the house.
Well, you do know that the rule for cats is 1 litter box per cat plus an extra. That's usually what they recommend. Mm-hmm. So if you have 50 cats, you better have 51 litter boxes in your house somewhere.
Mm-hmm. 2 cats and 1 litter box is definitely noticeable, but these people had 10 plus litter boxes. Their houses stank to high heaven or hell, depending on how you look at it. Not to mention that the litter box smell, it's not healthy. It's not healthy for you to breathe that. Plus, you have 15 to 30 cats all in one house running free. That's stressful on the cats. They'll fight. They'll destroy things. They'll piss or shit where they're not supposed to. I mean, cats are territorial, and domestic cats don't usually get along with a bunch of other cats. Feral cats are independent, as are domesticated cats. But they'll tolerate other cats and maybe even be friendly with them, but you get too many and all hell breaks loose.
I think the max we've ever had is 6. We got 5 now. Got 5.
Todd had 8 at one point.
Yeah, that's a lot of cats. 6 was that was a great big number.
In his defense, when he walked in, you could definitely tell he had cats, but the smell wasn't anywhere nearly as bad as it could have been. I mean, it was tolerable if you walked into his house.
Oh yeah.
I mean, so he did a really good job keeping up with them and everything. But the cats didn't always get along. I mean, I've been over there and seen quite a few cat fights.
Oh yeah, there were 2 cats fighting under our bed just this morning. Our roommate's cat and our cat Bear were having an all-out brawl. Of course, sometimes Bear's just an asshole and we'll walk up and slap her for no reason. Like, just, cats are assholes.
So wait, you have 5 cats now?
Yeah.
Wow, this show is now. The show's had 2 crazy cat ladies on it.
Yeah, we got 5. Well, now that we got the 2 new kittens, we got 5 and
7.
No, there's 5.
Oh.
But the 2 kittens made 5. But yeah, even just today, like I said, we had an emergency vet for our kitten, $1,100 to tell us that the cat had a pulled muscle and was constipated. And apparently he put on a good show because he's a prima donna. Apparently they said, oh, we thought this cat had internal injuries or broken ribs or something was really wrong with him.
Well, just sprinkle some cod liver oil over their food. Constipation taken care of.
Well, it's the problem is that he hurt himself. He does have a strain somewhere. He pulled some muscle, so it hurts to squat or whatever. So he's been holding it probably because it hurt.
Oh,
so he's just backed up. So, and I'm glad that it's nothing bad. I mean, I didn't want the cat to have internal injuries or something from falling off something like kittens do, but Jesus, I'm like, we've had this cat for a month and already $1,100. I'm like, little shithead. We love him already.
Kitty poop with Sandra.
yeah. Kitty not shitting? Take him to an emergency vet where they'll charge you $1,100 for X-rays and blood work on a Sunday. Because the cat couldn't be sick on a Monday when we could have taken him to the regular vet, which would have been exponentially cheaper. No. Sunday. Weekend.
But what if you were in this cult and you were allergic to cats?
Oh.
Sheryl didn't care. Is your allergy in this present life enough to keep you from going to heaven and instead being cast into hell?
That's bad because I'm partially allergic to cats. New cats, I got to get used to them.
I am too.
The kittens, they've been sleeping in our bed recently, and I wake up and my eyes feel like stickle poivre. I'm like, oh.
I mean, I've got a mild allergy. I've had cats over the years, but for me, it's slightly under my pollen allergy.
Yeah.
I like cats and everything, but for some people, it's severe. Kind of like my allergy to pork. That's severe. So if I had to choose a religion based on allergies, I'd go Judaism or Islam. But
well, they just they don't care about pigs. They just think they're dirt. So
yeah, but you're not allowed to eat
you
them.
are not, because they're dirty. If you had a beef allergy, then you could be Hindu.
Right. I like beef though. But Cheryl didn't care. I mean, the cats were your main priority. No matter how many litter boxes you had, there's no way you're going to keep them all clean. And if somebody was coming to your house as a guest for the first time, they'd probably be in your house for a good 5 seconds and then haul ass.
Cat piss doesn't come out of anything. It is the worst.
And you know what? I keep getting these ads on Facebook where it's talking about like this spray or this cleaner that you can clean on carpets that removes cat litter. I got news for you people. It may get it out of the carpet itself, but that shit's still in the pad.
Oh, yeah.
And it's still wet. I mean, carpet is disgusting.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. We had carpet at our old house, and we had an old cat that was sick and decided to piss in the carpet. Like, we had to rip up the carpet, take the padding out, and I had to scrub the concrete. Like, literally on my hands and knees with a bristle brush, like scrubbing that shit because it was not coming out otherwise. Not a good time. 0 out of 5 stars. Would not recommend.
If you refuse these cats, Cheryl would publicly degrade you in front of everybody. She would even boot people from the church over it, thus condemning their souls to hell, but it wouldn't end there. They would lose their jobs or their houses because Cheryl had lots of money, and that's something that we haven't gotten to yet, but we will, as far as the money that supported all of this. But Cheryl had influence, so put a knife in that. Later, Cheryl preached that the cats would later become human.
I didn't watch it, but all I can think about is the movie of the play Cats that they made.
I didn't see that.
I didn't see it either, but someone told me that they had like CGI buttholes, and I really want to know if it's true, because if that's true, then I just have to watch it. Say in the comments if anyone actually watched that movie. Do they have CGI buttholes? Because we all know that cats love to show you their buttholes. That's their favorite thing. Very proud.
Yeah, look at my ass. It's good thing they don't have the same type of fur that poodles have.
Well, that was like
now if you got a black or a brown poodle, you're okay. But if you got a white one or a very light brown one, you're
that reminds me of like those curly haired cats. Like, and someone said it looked like a cross between a cat and a sheep, and someone was like, "Oh, it's a shitten," and they're like, "No, don't call it that." And it's like a shat.
A shat. Well, let me tell you, a shat. Yeah. But where was I? She also doubled down on the Doomsday prophecy, saying that the angel of death was on his way, and then she would fake fear over it. But she also vowed that with her guidance, her followers would be safe, as long as they had a bunch of cats.
If you don't have any cats, you cannot be saved.
Yeah. slowly, people started jumping ship. Sheryl was really beating her followers down, controlling every aspect of their lives, and she was using the cats to do this. Followers were losing their minds over having to cater to her rules and all the crap that they literally had to deal with from the cats.
I mean, can you imagine if you were in it like before the cats, and then one day it was like, here's the cat. It's just changing the rules every day. Like, what's going to happen today? And okay, today it's cats. What's it tomorrow? Snakes,
hedgehogs.
Oh, hedgehogs, chinchillas.
I used to have hedgehogs. I got 2 of them, not realizing that I got a male and a female.
Oh.
And I wound up with babies, lots of them. I mean, they breed like rabbits.
They are cute though, and they like.
They are cute, but I feel sorry for the female hedgehogs because they come out with their little, spikes or
they're
whatever.
Soft. I mean, imagine female porcupines. I mean.
That too. Yeah, but the porcupine's quills they fold to the back. Hedgehogs, they just stick out.
Well, totally unrelated, but animal births. If you ever want to look up the worst animal birth in the wild kingdom, hyenas. Enjoy that. If you ever want to take a little trip down Google Lane, look up hyenas giving birth, because that sucks.
I'll take your word for it.
Yeah. Yeah, it sucks.
But you also had to get permission from Sheryl to do literally anything. Vacations or even something simple like going out to eat. Everything had to be approved by the prophet, and if you dared do something without her permission, you and your family would be publicly admonished by Sheryl. One family, the husband's father was diagnosed with Alzheimer's, and they needed to go to him, and because he was succumbing quickly. But he lived in Louisiana, and they're still in Washington. But they didn't tell Sheryl where he lived. But Sheryl forbade them from going. No, you can't go. I don't want to allow it. Who's going to take care of your cats?
I was going to say, like, how are you going to get a pet sitter for your 50 fucking cats?
Yeah. But they went they went anyway, and they never looked back.
Good for them.
Yeah. That was loud. Followers who are at their breaking points would confide to other members, and of course the people who they confided in ratted them out to Sheryl. And that got them a visit from Sheryl and her kitty cat corps of enforcers. And I made that title up, but it's not far off.
She had like cats strapped to her, like weapons or something, like coming to your door. Like, you've angered the prophet. Cat candy.
So Sheryl then closed the doors and stopped accepting new members. This way, she could really wield her power over her followers. But since it wasn't a church anymore and just a cat rescue, that's all the people on the outside saw, a cat rescue charity. Although nothing could be further from the truth.
So she's just getting money from nonprofit, I'm assuming.
We'll get there. Yeah, we'll get there. I promise. This is not going to be a 3-part episode, so everything's going to wrap up in this episode. I promise. The houses smelled like bleach and cat piss, with all these cats crammed into their houses, stressed out, fighting, seriously damaging these people's houses. If they're renting, I guess they're not getting their security deposit back.
They may owe a second one.
But what if your landlord didn't allow pets?
Too bad.
Take a guess.
Sheryl didn't care.
You had to move. Mm-hmm. But even if they did allow cats, I don't think they're going to allow 50 cats.
Maybe 2. Maybe.
You know, it always blows my mind how landlords don't allow pets, but they do allow teenagers.
Well, yeah. But see, that's one of the main reasons that I have cats, but I don't have kids. Because they're just as dirty, but at least you can leave them with a bowl of kibble and some water. And a box to shit in and be like, later. You do that to your kid, and I mean,
you're going to be getting
a visit from.
Yeah. But in addition, this was a rule that Sheryl had. You had to wake up every 3 hours to feed the cats and change their litter boxes, like during the night,
like having a baby.
So nobody was getting any sleep. Yeah, exactly. But that's sleep deprivation, which is a common cult leader tactic. So I mean, everything that she does, I mean, this is kind of outlandish with all the cats and everything, and all the weird and whacked out shit that we talked about in the first episode or in part 1. This is clearly left field when it comes to cult, but she's still using the same playbook.
How many cats did she have, though?
Never said. I would guess none, or maybe 1 or 2. That would be my guess, because she was all about rules for thee, not for me.
What's good for the goose is not good for the gander.
Right.
Fair.
But the madness didn't end there, and this is crazy. The cult went all together, just like all of them went together to see the movie The Da Vinci Code when it came out. Well, this movie is deemed to be sacrilegious by a lot of religious groups and stuff. I've never seen it, but if I had, I'm pretty sure that I'd understand why it was considered to be sacrilegious. But after seeing it, Sheryl began telling people that she was Mary Magdalene in the flesh, but she was reincarnated as Sheryl. So now she's Mary Magdalene.
So she's a whore. Cool.
Oh, no. According to the Bible, Mary was a prostitute. But according to the movie, and this is just in research, because like I said, I haven't seen the movie, but according to the movie, she was Jesus' wife. Therefore, Sheryl was Jesus' wife, and her followers bought it.
Her wife.
Horrible, huh? She also began cutting herself and draining her blood into a cup, mixing it with with a concoction. It didn't say whether it was like grape juice or something like that, or maybe it was the salt water. I don't know, but she was having her followers literally drink her blood in communion. But whether she moved away from the salt water or not, but she was literally having people drink her blood. Most churches use grape juice, or some even use wine, but not Sheryl. You do it, and all will be fine. Do it not, and there will be hell to pay. You must drink my blood, because I'm Mary Magdalene, and the prophet. I'm Jesus' wife.
Oh. People buy this. I don't know. Like, I guess I just wonder at some point, like at what point does the craziness trigger your brain to go, maybe this is just a little too outlet. I mean, it's fascinating to me. The psychology is fascinating to me. I don't know, like how anyone can just, I don't get it. I don't understand.
You have a rational mind. You're a free thinker. So obviously this isn't going to make sense to you.
But even if you weren't, I would think at some point you'd be like, this is fucking crazy. This is insane stuff. And I don't know. I guess I've never met a person that didn't have some rationality, some semblance of rationality that would kick in at some point.
Yeah, but I mean, my mom was the type, she was able to, she bought into the cult like hook, line, and sinker and everything. Even divorced my dad over it, because they told her to, because God doesn't accept second marriages. And it's just, and I want to know what my mom's mindset was when she left the Baptist church and found this cult, but none of my aunts really have that they don't know, they have no clue. It was just one day, boom, she was in it, and she dragged me, my sister, and my dad into it. My dad hated it. Episode 10 and 11. but when Hobart Freeman, the cult leader, died, he had recently purchased several large trailer parks in the Warsaw, Indiana area, as in commune. And if he hadn't died and he had decided to make it, to like, okay, we're going to have everybody live together, my mom would have been one of the first people on the bus and had me and my sister along with her running up there to frickin' Indiana to live there. So thank God the son of a bitch died.
I mean, well, but it's like, saying God has a problem with second marriages is a little more plausible, because at least you can argue divorce is frowned upon in the Bible. So at least you can kind of justify that a little bit.
Okay, we're gonna. Oh, all right, yeah. Okay, but how about this? Let's say you've got a man that's been married before, but you've got a woman who's never been married before. So they go into this cult. Oh, God doesn't approve of second marriages. You guys have to divorce, and the man has to go find his first wife. What about the woman? I guess she's fucked.
I guess so. Well, you should have thought about that before you married him, and married him in sin, because you knew that he was a divorcee.
Well, according to them, me and my sister were products of a sinful union. It's like, thanks, asshole.
I mean,
fuck off.
Yeah, but again, at least I could see biblical verses or something being a justification for that. Like, as twisted as it is, I could say, right, okay, I could see how they can manipulate someone into believing, yeah, Bible says this is bad. But how the hell does anyone look in the Bible and go, I have to own a shitload of cats and drink the blood of Mary Magdalene reincarnated or some shit? Like, that's what I don't get. Like, why? Or like, you watch a movie or something. I don't. That's what I don't get. Like, this is crazy to the point of, where is the justification for this? Like, how did she get them to go, yeah, that makes sense?
That makes sense.
Don't get it.
Let me latch onto this. Now, since we kind of got off on a tangent there about the cult that I was raised in, I have been toying. Now, Sandra, you let me know what you think about this. Would you want to be a part of it? And listeners, do the same thing. I've been toying, because when I did episodes 10 and 11, over 3 years ago, that was the first time I had ever sat down and told the story. I know a lot more now than I did then, a lot more. And I've been toying with the idea of, how Paul and I did the BTK reboot, redid it. I've been thinking about doing that with my cult story. Would you want to be part of that? And listeners, would you want to hear that? Let me know.
I mean, I'd be interested to know from the perspective of someone that was in something like that. That'd be interesting, rather than just hearing about it.
I think, like in random passing, just random asides that happen to kind of have something a little bit to do with what we're talking about or whatever. But I know so much more now. I think I could tell it a hell of a lot better, now than I could back then. So, just let me know, people, if you want to hear that seriously, because if you do, then I'll redo that episode, and it'll be crammed full with a lot more information. But anyway, hashtag. But I digress. but still, it was, I wouldn't mind doing it. In fact, I kind of want to do it, but did you get enough the first time is what I want to know. You know what I mean?
The listeners, yeah. I didn't get any of it the first time, so it'd be all new to me.
Well, you could go listen to the episodes.
I listened to enough, Bill, doing these episodes.
Yeah, but those episodes, I mean, they're really early on. So it's just like the delivery quality is, isn't really there. I mean, that's like that with any podcast. You listen to the early episodes, they're not going to be anywhere close to as good as, what they're currently putting out, especially if you've got a podcast that's been around for several years, like this one. So, anyway, now we're going to get into the money.
Money.
Damn, that's loud. One man in Vancouver, British Columbia, was given an ultimatum by Sheryl to turn all of his family's finances over to his wife, who was a very devout follower. He wasn't. But he had to do this, or his wife would leave and take the kids. This would result in his wife giving a major percentage of their income to Sheryl, and there was nothing that he could do about it.
At that rate, I think it'd be like, all right, sorry. I guess we're going to get divorced because you into some crazy shit.
But the man didn't comply, and one day, like 8 days later, he came home from work and the house was empty. Sheryl and the crew had come by and they emptied the house of everything over the course of just the 8 hours that he was at work. And he had no idea where they had gone. The man filed charges, and the judge, this is in Canada, but the judge agreed that his wife had turned over her autonomy to Sheryl, as well as the fact that Sheryl posed a clear and present danger to his kids. He was granted custody, but there was no clue where his wife and kids actually were. This is freaking devious. This was all planned. All of it.
She essentially kidnapped the kids.
My jaw was on the freaking floor when when I was researching this part. But he was sure that they had gone into the U.S. Obviously to be with Sheryl. Vancouver, Washington, or Vancouver, British Columbia is just like right across the border from Seattle. I'm not sure where exactly the city that this cult was in. I'm not sure exactly where it was. I probably could have looked that up, but it's obviously within driving distance of Vancouver. But Vancouver also where the Willie Picton saga happened, and those 4 episodes. A week later, his wife called saying that she would return the kids to him because the courts had ordered it. And she came back, although they were living in separate locations. They started going to marriage counseling, and she said that she had quit the cult. This, by the way, was BC.
Before Christ? Before Mary Magdalene? Wait, what?
Nope.
Before cats?
BC. Come on. You got this. There you go. But before cats. But but we're just talking about the money now. But she hadn't left. They decided to get a new place together. They sold the old house, and the man and the kids went to her place until they could find a new house to buy. This was a place where she was the primary name on the lease. But they were all reunited, and it felt so good. 6 months had gone by. So what happens next? Take a guess.
Something tells me that she wasn't completely out of that cult at all, that was a lie.
And you would be right. She told him that she had never left Freedom Fire. She had never left Rambo. but no, but she had never left Freedom Fire, and since she had established the status quo with the kids at that house that was in her name, she was keeping the kids, and he had to go.
What a bitch.
Fucking devious. I mean, but she took him for all he was worth too. He was ruined, and this whole charade was orchestrated by Sheryl. And things like this happened all the time. I mean, Sheryl would divide and conquer families, all to benefit her bank account. When Mark divorced Sheryl, she walked away with around $750,000. But that didn't stop her from telling everybody in her congregation that Mark was a deadbeat and wasn't paying child support.
And that he needed to die, right?
Yeah, that too. Sheryl loved the tithes. As all cult leaders do. But, as all cult leaders do, she wanted more. Much more. She called the extra offerings the cut of covenants. She even said that not all offerings were equal, meaning that she could basically demand whatever she wanted from everybody. It might be the tithe plus $50 a week from one family, but another family might have to give the tithe plus $500 a week. All depended on what income you were. She didn't care as long as she got your money.
Yeah.
In addition, it was that, and in addition to whatever else she dreamed up. And once again, if you didn't comply, you were admonished.
I mean, I'm just thinking about how many cats $750,000 could buy.
We're going to get to that too. She would take your tax return check. She would take inheritances, work bonuses, you name it. And quote, I'm sure that you heard the song when you saw Suicidal Tendencies. The song's called Send Me Your Money. And in that song, they said, we'll take cash, we'll take checks, we'll take credit cards, we'll take jewelry, we'll take your mama's dentures if they got gold in them. I know you heard that song. I know they did, but
I'm going to be honest. We did not go outside for Suicidal Tendencies because it was too freaking hot and our seats were not shaded. So we kind of heard them from inside.
They're a great band. I wish you could have seen them. They were incredible.
We didn't know who they were. I mean, we'd heard of them, but we didn't listen to them. And like I said, it was the previous night. We were so exhausted from sitting in the sun because our seats were not shaded till at least 7:30, and it was brutal.
Yeah, I saw the pictures that you posted.
It was brutal,
yeah.
And I couldn't. I even told Doug, I said no, because at first I thought it was at Amalie Arena. And then he informed me the night before, he's like, no, it's at Raymond James. And I was like, are you fucking kidding me? It's at Raymond James. Like, there's no roof, right? And I'm like, build a freaking roof. We have the technology.
Yeah, look at what they did to the Dolphins Stadium. Yeah. There's a roof on it now.
It's like, it's hot as hell. Like, could at least shade the seats. Like,
I think I read something a little while ago saying that the Bucs were planning on putting a roof on it, similar to what the Dolphins did with their stadium.
They really should. I felt really bad for those people on the east side. That was, oh my God. I wouldn't have been able to do it. I would have been like, no, never. I couldn't even imagine watching a football. Oh, I mean, at least football's usually more winterish, but still, well, in Florida. To be fair, what is winter in Florida? I mean,
non-existent.
Exactly.
But she said all of this money was going to the church, but it wasn't. It was funding her very lavish lifestyle, including, but not limited to, breast implants and plastic surgery.
Yeah.
Her followers had made her a multimillionaire. She even took money that was given to families who adopted. There are a couple of families that adopted special needs kids, and when you adopt a special needs kid, you get like a cut. You get help with that from the government. She took that money too. It's like,
I'm sorry, my special needs kid needs occupational therapy. I don't give a shit. Mommy.
I don't care. The cat.
Mommy
the cats
needs
need
bigger
catnip.
tits.
Yeah. Your money was her money. It cost more to be in this cult than it would be to be in the most lucrative golf club in the country. I mean, and when the cats came into the picture, Sheryl made a rule saying that you had to get your kitty supplies from her. She would buy them in bulk at like Sam's Club or Costco, and then sell them to her followers at 100% markup. Not to mention, she was getting all of the cats from the shelters for free, but she made her followers pay her $75 for each cat that they took in.
She's got to recoup all the money that she spends taking care of them, right? Like,
But how did she do this? Isolation, like all cult leaders do. She cut you off from all of your friends and family, and then she beat you down until you were basically codependent on her, and then you effectively belong to her. On the 18th birthday of Mark and Cheryl's daughter, Olivia, Mark tried to contact her. Her phone was disconnected. He called Sheryl and his sons. All lines were disconnected. He went over to their place only to find it empty. They were gone. Sheryl, the kids, and a lot of the cult members had bolted to Murfreesboro, Tennessee. The kids knew that this move was coming, and they were well coached by Sheryl to lie to Mark about it. Mark began investigating and found out that Olivia had graduated high school a month early. Like, she was like a whiz kid and everything, and she actually graduated a month early. She'd been, but that was news to him. He hadn't heard anything about it. In the caravan to Tennessee, there was a bus full of cats, chickens, guns, and gold. And at this point, she had an arsenal of holy AR-15s.
Guns are definitely something you bring to Tennessee.
Mary. Yeah. I'm surprised. Those guns. There's a ban on AR-15s in Washington, so those guns were illegal in Washington.
Since when did she care about the law?
Right. But still, if somebody had just tipped them off, she could have been brought down on weapons charges.
I don't know. She may have gotten all of her followers to go down for her, be claiming those aren't mine. Kind of like the drugs in the car. Those aren't mine. It's my friend's
those
drugs.
aren't my drugs. But Mary, from part one of the caravan, she said that she knew deep down that she had to get out, but she was so thoroughly groomed and afraid that she couldn't get out. She was afraid to go. Mark knew Mary, and he stalked her Facebook page. She posted that Sheryl had bought a horse, and that was how he tracked them to Tennessee. Sheryl had bought a 42-acre property and paid cash. It was almost $1 million. Mark called the Murfreesboro sheriff and requested a welfare check on his adult kids. The sheriff called Sheryl, who regurgitated all the bullshit about Mark that she had her followers believing, and the sheriff bought it and basically told Mark that he was an abusive asshole and to stay away or he would be arrested. She had charmed the sheriff, and she probably met with him wearing a very low-cut top showing off those fake boobs, and he was putty in her hands.
Mark.
I'm not gonna lie, she is an
You
attractive
mentioned
woman.
that she
But
she what was it? Princess Di when she had her neck. Was that
the Princess Di with
like
a
before
long neck.
she had her neck or something? I think that's what you said.
Yeah. What? When I got tongue tied? Yeah. Still, Sheryl had packed up the Colts and the cats and then moved to Columbia, Tennessee. Mary went with her, but she wanted out. Once in Columbia, she met another musician and they became close. And Mary began opening up about how the hell that was, she had been she had been I hadn't had a full fumble yet. I was thinking I might get through this episode without doing a full word fumble, but nope, it was not meant to be. But Mary began opening up about the hell that was her life, and she didn't know how to get out. And this musician told her to move in with her, and they would take care of it together. So she did. But remembers Mary's sister, the one that was kind of responsible for Mary getting into the cult in the first place? Mary had called her and said that she was done with the cult. She came out as a lesbian to her sister, and they both cried and they exchanged stories about the hell that they both had been through. And her sister didn't even know that that Mary was a lesbian, and she definitely didn't know that Mary and Sheryl had been in a sexual relationship. That's how secretive Sheryl had made it. Which makes me wonder if Sheryl was she actually a lesbian, or was she just kind of like a gay for pay type
she
thing?
could have been playing for both teams.
Obviously
for real.
she was, but I don't think that she was necessarily bisexual herself. She was just doing what she needed to do to put her claws into Mary. But because remember how quickly she abandoned it. How she did give her up. She did let her down.
True, but again, like Mary, other than her musical talents, was Mary offering like a bunch of money or something? Like what? I guess I would wonder what the motive was to keep Mary.
It was I think it was the musical talent. Because in the documentary there is like clips of her playing piano and singing, and she does have an incredibly beautiful voice, and she's very gifted on piano.
Unless she thought maybe that Mary would eventually hit it big or something, or get some type of influence or something. I don't know.
I don't think Sheryl would have allowed that. Even as greedy as she was, I don't think she would have allowed that, because if she hit it big, she would lose her influence over Mary.
So that's why I think that it might be possible that she actually was bisexual or something, because again, I'm trying to see the motive for Mary other than, like I said, like, okay, yes, she had musical talent, but I don't see that as a huge asset to the church in and of itself, unless Mary had a lot of money. If Mary was
I get what you're saying.
If Mary had a shitload of money or something and she was talented, I could see why it'd be like, oh, I better keep her because she's, rolling in the dough. But other than that, I can't really see the motive for keeping her.
Well, you remember when she met Mary, the first time that she heard her playing and singing, she fell down on her knees and made this whole big scene. So basically what she's doing is she's propping, Mary's talent up as being as being like God-given and stuff like that. And, maybe propping her up to be like, I don't know, for people to aspire to be like Mary. basically a prop.
Could be,
a prop.
but that's a long way to go to keep a prop. That's.
Well, look what she did. Look what she did to that guy. That long calculated plan about breaking up that guy's family. She played the long game and everything that she did.
There, she had a good amount of money to gain by manipulating that woman.
Sure. Mary sent Sheryl an email saying that she'd met somebody and that she was out. Sheryl, of course, began love bombing Mary all over again, and of course she did. She sent emails begging Mary not to go because she loved Mary and needed her in her life, and Mary did not cave, and good for her. But Mary had goons working for her, Sheryl had goons working for her, and one contacted her saying that she had to destroy everything that she had from the cult. Mary just wanted to be done with it, did it. But she now wished she hadn't done it, though, because if she hadn't, she'd have solid documented proof of everything that she had said. But she's telling her story, like I said in part 1. So, Mary, you're welcome on the show. Hit me up. Definitely. Love to have her on here. Mark's wife, by the way, remember in part 1, I didn't have her name? I think I just overlooked it. I think I just overlooked it when I was putting it together. But her name is also Mary. So, but once they learned that Sheryl had put a hit on Mark, she put Mark's new wife, Mary, put up a Facebook page called "Is There a Cult in Columbia, Tennessee?" Just to put the information out. And survivors began telling their stories there. And I'll link it in the notes. I'll link the Facebook page in the notes. I thought about like reading some of the excerpts and everything, but I kind of decided against it. If you want to see it, it's there. Go read it. I also sent a message to Mary saying, Mark's Mary saying that she's more than welcome to come on as well, along with Mark. So I think I might get I think I might get somebody from this cult on, which would be cool because this is like one of the craziest cults I've ever covered. But after that site went up, Sheryl got paranoid. And remember Rick Madrid, the guy that she married was supposed to be the hitman? That's another thing she played the long game on. She actually married this dude. And she had sex with him all the time and married him, and all this was just so that he would take out Mark, but he didn't. He went on a podcast called The Opportunist in 2021. He spilled the beans, and he admitted that he had been put up to kill Mark, but the story about the attempt on Mark's life had been buried. Nobody within the cult knew about it. But in 2024, producers of the documentary, The Curious Case of Season 1, Episode 6, Doomsday Cat Cult, which is the primary source for these 2 episodes, tried to track Rick down. And it turned out that Rick had died. And the official story was that he had died in his sleep due to sleep apnea. Pretty coincidental that he died literally a month after going on that podcast. Was
he smothered by a cat?
He had been tasked with killing Mark. He spilled the bean, and then he died a month later. Yeah. Coincidence? I think not. But also, he was back in New Mexico when he died, and New Mexico will only release death certificates to family members.
Oh, boy.
But are you ready for a twist? After Rick was ousted by Sheryl, he reached out to Mark and Mary. They became friends. They were friends with the man who was sent to kill Mark, and when it came out that he died, they Mark and Mary were actually heartbroken over it. But there's
conspiracy
theories. Yes, thank you. Sheryl paid him off to disappear, as well as different causes for his death, like sleep apnea or brain aneurysm or whatever. But Mark's wife, Mary, spoke with Rick's nephew, Randy. And she says that he not only told her that Sheryl wanted Rick to kill Mark, but she also wanted Rick to kill Mary and Mary's kids.
Well, I mean, at least he didn't do it, and he kind of had his epiphany or whatever before he actually engaged in any of that.
Right. But the statute of limitations had run out on being able to investigate the hit. But there are other things that can be used to bring Sheryl in, like racketeering and tax evasion under the RICO Act. John Gotti, anybody? That was episode 64, by the way. Todd and I covered John Gotti, but we also had this author, Vic Ferrari, on, and he was a retired New York City police, a New York City cop, and he had some very, very good insight into that case. That was an awesome episode. I was definitely glad that we had him on to cover that one. But yeah, his books are great too. He tells like funny stories that happened to him when he was when he was part of the
I'm
New
sure
York
he
City
has stories.
Police Department. Oh, he does. He's got like 6 books. I've read a couple of them. They're great. Yeah. Might want to bring him on. Like the next time I cover a New York Mafia story, I'm probably going to bring him on again because he was amazing. But Sheryl then ditched Columbia, Tennessee, and moved to Columbia, Kentucky. Not even kidding. Not even kidding. She actually moved to a city with the same name of where she was before. And as far as online searches, that's not smart. She'll come up in 2 different cities just by searching for Columbia. Yeah. Even if you're looking for the space shuttle Columbia, you'll find her in Columbia, Tennessee, and Columbia,
I don't know,
Kentucky.
maybe she thought that people wouldn't know which Columbia it was.
But then she started a new cat rescue. It's not Eva's Eden anymore. Now it's Da Vinci's Dream. Now, I do know some about Leonardo da Vinci, and I don't remember anything about cats in his story.
There could have been cats. I don't know.
But
there might have been cats. Did Da Vinci like cats?
But
maybe
there might have been. I don't know. But Da Vinci's Dream is not only cats. They've brought dogs into the picture too. So
mass hysteria.
Cats and dogs living together. Mass hysteria. Nothing crazy has come out since she moved to Kentucky. So either she's a legit kennel now, not doing the cult anymore, or she has her followers locked down to the point that nothing is getting leaked out about it anymore. And I'm betting on the latter. But
no,
to this day, sadly,
the fact that it may still be going and now there's dogs involved and shit too. I don't know.
Fuck it, I'm gonna say it. I hope she brings in a pit bull that had been victimized by like a dog fighting ring, and that dog flips out on her.
Yeah, I really wonder. Well, I guess to me, I wonder why like that there weren't charges and shit. Like, were there charges and stuff brought against her? I mean.
She's never been charged with anything.
She just got away with it. Awesome.
Yep. No, Sheryl, if you want to come on,
Oh boy.
you're welcome to.
Will we?
We'll be nice. We'll be
We
nice.
will.
Maybe.
I
Maybe
have
not.
cat ears on.
Yeah.
You
we
can
will.
trust me.
We'll be nice. Right. Yeah. Right. Oh, man. But to this day, sadly, Mark's kids still have nothing to do with him. Mary married the woman who pulled her out of the cult, and she also has a stepdaughter now. And she also has a black cat named Evie that she adores. That's it. That's what I got.
Yeah.
Thoughts?
Like I said, I just I'm really surprised that nothing was ever brought against her, that she just did all this craziness. And
Well, like John Gotti, she was Teflon. A Teflon cult leader. But wow, I mean, this is. I wish I had looked into this because I said in part one that I vaguely remembered somebody mentioning the story to Todd and me at CrimeCon, and I really wish I had looked into it then, because it would have been great to have Todd on this story. But
could he have helped if your cult leader is really into cats? Kitty chat with Todd, or is your cult leader forcing you to adopt 50 cats and clean their shit boxes 3 hours every night?
Kitty chat with Todd can help.
Oh.
Oh man, but yeah, what a crazy ass story. I mean, it just blows my mind. I mean, other than just somebody randomly mentioning it to me, the crazy cat cult at CrimeCon, I had no idea how insane the story was. But I guess I should have, just by the virtue of it being a cat cult.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it didn't start off as a cat cult. It got more and more bizarre as time went on. It's like the cats were kind of.
Yeah, it was just a snowball effect of crazy. She just kept piling on over and more and more and more and more, the more crazy. And if I find out any more like current, like new news or whatever, I'm gonna mention it on the podcast, because I mean I don't think that the story is over. I don't think that she like I said, I'm betting on the latter. She's got everybody locked down. So I'm hoping that eventually something, she slips up and does something that she can't weasel her way out of, or pay her way out of.
If anybody listening to this podcast is part of a crazy cat cult, we'd love to hear from you too.
ckcbpodcast@gmail.com. And yeah, I mean, anybody that wants to come on from this was part of that cult, is welcome here. But if you're going to come on and try to defend her, this might not be the podcast for you. I had gotten a message from somebody regarding the episode that I did about the movement of God cult. Todd and I did the episode, and then there was a documentary done on it, and there was a survivor from it who was on the documentary. He reached out to us, and we wound up having I wound up having him on. But it's just like I'm getting loyalists and everything from that cult, people that are still loyal that cult and everything. I have one person, message me on Instagram. It's like, can I talk freely about the move here? Because that's what it was called. It was like nicknamed The Move instead of the Movement of God. And no, this is crazy. I'm only bringing this up because I've gotten loyalists of Hobart Freeman telling me that. Well, I'm just gonna read what I've wrote back to this guy. Like, can I talk freely about the move here? I said, you can, but I'm not turning this into a Richard detractors forum. As a cult survivor myself, I see a lot of things. Did I talk about this on part 1? Okay, I'll just start that over again. You can, but I'm not turning this into a Richard versus detractors forum. As a cult survivor myself, I see a lot of common and similar things with the move to what I was raised in. So I'm very inclined to believe what he says. I also have people who are loyalists to Hobart Freeman who attack me saying that what I lived through didn't happen. It did. I was there. If you want to counteract and accuse Richard of lying, this is not the place for that. And I haven't heard back from the guy.
So no, you may not speak freely. But, fuck you.
Yeah. So, but if you, the fact that he even asked me that just tells me that he just wants to come on and say that he's, that Richard is lying. But the thing about it is, on that documentary, there were 2 other cult survivors from that same cult that told similar stories. But they only want to attack Richard because Richard actually wrote a book about it. And so yeah, it's just yeah. So they, but I can't understand being loyal to people like that. It's just, damn, you were a victim. You were victimized. Pull your head out of your ass and realize it. And I know that's, and I would never say that to somebody who was out of it and like trying to get their minds right and everything. I've talked to a lot of people like that, on and off the podcast. But these people that are just like loyalists to this day and everything. I mean, Hobart Freeman died in 1984, and there's still people that swear by his message.
I view it kind of as there are a lot of victims of abuse and everything else who defend their abusers, maybe they even realize that in a way it's kind of sick, but they've been, psychologically damaged to the point where they feel like I have to somewhat defend or I can't speak freely. Yeah, that's it doesn't really surprise me that there are people that still defend it, even if they're out, because I think it's hard to get over some of that psychological abuse that you suffer. And, there's lots of, I mean, shit, how many women get smacked by their husbands and say, but he's not a bad man. I mean, it's
right.
There's nothing different, that's the mindset you get into.
But it's just, I don't know. But this one seems to be on a different level. It's just that this woman, I mean, all cult leaders are master manipulators. They all are. But this woman takes it
But she loved
to a
me.
different
She was
level.
trying to save
I mean, it's just
me
like
from hell by giving me these divine cats.
Yeah.
Seems legit.
Hell, she should have it should have been a giraffe rescue. with her long neck.
Yeah, Princess Diana never got a neck. Well, she did eventually.
No, I'm serious. I didn't have any. I should have pulled pictures up and everything, to have it and everything. But she does kind of look like Princess Diana, like kinda. But her neck is like a foot long,
like the women of the what is it, the Karen tribe over in like Burma.
Yeah, except there's no rings around her neck. It's just her neck. She's just like part giraffe, I guess.
Oh.
Anyway, and now we're going to bring in Sandra's husband, Doug, to do his Beer of the Week segment. How's it going, Doug? What do you got for us?
Doing all right, Bill. So for today, going back to a local brew. I don't think I've done a review of this brewery yet, even though they're probably the biggest one in Tampa, and whatnot. But so the beer I have for today is called Oatmeal Raisin Cookie. It's a brown ale from Cigar City Brewing. Again, I don't think I've done a Cigar City brew yet, but this is one of my favorites from them. So the little note on the back here says the addition of raisins, cinnamon, and vanilla to our full-bodied and chocolatey brown ale base creates a unique beer that tastes exactly like it was pulled out of grandma's oven. So,
okay.
It is oatmeal raisin cookie. So basically they took their traditional brown ale, which I'm a fan of, their Maduro brown. And they added the raisins, cinnamon, and vanilla to it to make oatmeal raisin cookie. So let's pop it open here real quick.
I don't know what to say about this.
So I am normally not a fan of oatmeal raisin cookies themselves, but this beer, it's the flavor and not the texture. Maybe it's the texture of the actual cookie I don't like, but the flavor profile is amazing. So we'll give a pour here. Still that chocolatey brownness of a brown ale and such. Good head on it as well. Looking really good.
You don't like oatmeal raisin cookies?
It's the texture. It's the texture.
Well, you like the oatmeal cream pies or something, right?
That's different.
Texture. It's a very different texture.
Yeah. Oatmeal cream pies are the bomb, especially the double ones. If you can find the double ones, those are amazing.
Oh yeah, that's diabetic shock in a wrapper.
Oh yeah. This thing smells amazing. So you definitely you get the you get the chocolate, the vanilla, the oatmeal, the raisins, all of it on the nose. Oh yeah, this is amazing. So before I give it a taste, just some facts about this on beeradvocate.com, which is where I do all of my my research for beer scoring and such. It's a 91 on beeradvocate.com. So definitely high up there. A 5.5% ABV, and also on Beer Advocate, it is ranked number 2 in brown ales across all of the beers on Beer Advocate. This is ranked number 2 on their brown ale list. So.
Okay. Somebody likes it.
yeah. So here, let's give it a taste. Oh yeah.
Yeah. Everybody knows that I just like my shitty tasting Bud Light, and that's pretty much all I drink. And
oh yeah, but no. Definitely the chocolatiness, the oatmeal, both of those definitely coming through. The raisin is more on the back end for it, but definitely a good mouthfeel and such, but no, solid beer. Again, oatmeal raisin cookie from Cigar City Brewing. I don't know if this is a seasonal or available all year round. I know definitely during like Girl Scout cookie season, this is available. I think they put it out during Girl Scout cookie season when that rolls around and such. But seriously good beer if you can get your hands on it. Highly recommend it. Especially if you like darker beers that aren't stouts. Brown ale is definitely in that category.
So we got to wait for our dealer to come back in town for you to get this beer. So
you have so you've got the Girl Scouts on one side of the Dollar General entrance, and then you've got the beer peddler on the other.
Exactly. But no, definitely good. And it's only 5.5%. So, I mean, a 6-pack of these, you're not going to get, wasted. I've obviously reviewed some very high octane beers on this show and such. This is right in that middle ground, 5.5%, easy drinking, and such. But no, definitely recommend, the oatmeal raisin cookie from Cigar City Brewing.
Nice. I'll take your word for it. That does not sound appealing to me at all.
Sorry, Bill. It is very good. Yeah.
Bill doesn't have any taste. We know this. It's okay.
Yep. So, but as always, ckcbeer@gmail.com. Please, send me an email, get in touch. Happy to review a beer. Give me recommendations. Send me beer. We can get in touch. You can send me some beer to review. Happy to do that as well. But always looking to try new things. So yeah, hit me up. ckcbeer@gmail.com.
Hit him up and give him something. Try to cut. Okay, I'm putting the challenge out there. Obviously, the T-shirt didn't work. But then again, I made that offer, and then you guys disappeared for a month. So
Sorry.
but now here's the challenge: see if you can get him a beer, or whether you send it to him or just recommend it, of something that you think that I might like. Now, that's a challenge.
Well, if you like Bud Light, that's not really hard to do, because most breweries make some type of Pilsner or American lager, which is what Bud Light is. So that's usually on their it is absolutely on there. So yes, it is definitely possible to find something that Bill would like.
Okay. So we didn't do this last week with you on, Doug, because we kind of forgot how we did things. But anyway, thanks a lot for listening, everybody. Appreciate the hell out of it. Please subscribe, follow the YouTube page, comment, follow us on whatever streaming platform you use: Spotify, Apple, iHeart, whatever. Be sure to leave us a 5-star rating. Helps grow the show. But what helps the mouth is word of most.
What helps the mouth is word of most. Yes.
Yeah. That's a T-shirt.
The mouth, everybody.
What helps the mouth is beer.
Yeah. But anyway, if you like us, tell a friend. If you hate us, tell an enemy. And until next week, later.
Cheers.